Today on Power TV, we'll be testing Crane Cam's quick lift roller rockers on an LS2 powered Pontiac GTO. Crane Cams has been in business for over 54 years as one of the leading manufacturers of valve train components. Now the LS2 in our GTO is already an efficient engine. We're very eager to see how much power the quick lift crane rocker arms would produce over the factory supplied pieces. We started off the day by strapping the GTO down on the dyno. It had mild bolt-ons and produced a baseline run of 363 horsepower and 357 foot-pounds of torque. Let's learn a little more about the Crane quick lift rockers while the techs at Vinci High Performance are doing the swap.
Well, it all comes down to simple geometry, and it comes down to the geometry of the rocker arm body. We call this geometry quick lift. Quick lift is a design of this body so that the intake valve, or exhaust valve, opens off the seat quicker in the early part of the valve opening sequence and stays open longer and closes faster to produce a better cylinder filling charge and make more horsepower.
By modifying where the push rod, seat, and nose wheel travel on their arc, Crane Cams is able to offer a varying rocker ratio. This allows more aggressive initial lift and quicker valve rates than the standard style rocker arm. In essence, you've now got a much more aggressive opening and closing ramp when using the Crane quick lifts without any loss of performance. It looks like our mechanics are finishing up the install of the Crane rocker arms on our LS2 small block Chevy. But before we get this GTO rolling on the dyno, Crane wants to tell us why they think varying the rocker arm ratio is helpful.
This is an LS1 stud-mounted rocker arm, just like you see on this GTO. This rocker arm has an advertised ratio of 1.8 to 1, but in fact, it starts the valve off the seat at a ratio of 1.92 to 1. Now when you compare that to a lot of other rocker arms that might be called a 1.8 actually start the valve off the seat at a ratio of 1.7. When we use the rocker arm as a dynamic part of the valve train, we don't have to lift the lifter as fast, we don't have to lift the push rod as fast. Both the lifter and the push rod have weight and therefore inertia. If we just had a rocker ratio that maintained one constant ratio, we would have to have a much more aggressive cam lobe and put a lot more acceleration into those heavy components of the lifter and the push rod to get the valve actuation we want at the valve itself. With a dynamic rocker arm like the quick lift geometry, we can slow down the opening ramp on the camshaft, keep the inertia loads low on the lifter and the push rod, and isn't that what it's all about?
Crane manufactures a variety of quick lift rockers. From big block Chevys to small block Fords, Crane Cams has the application that suits you. Now it's time to get our GTO strapped down on the dyno to see how the rockers will perform. When the rollers stopped spinning, we got the results. 381 horsepower and 385 foot-pounds of torque showed an impressive gain of 17.4 horsepower and 28.4 foot-pounds of torque. There were no other changes to the LS2 other than swapping from the stock rocker arms to the Crane Cam's quick lift roller rockers. We can truly say that these quick lifts provide a solid power gain and a great bang for the buck. If you'd like to learn more on Crane Cam's quick lift rockers, visit cranecams.com.